Hi, this is Chris from the Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from Political Voices Network.
We looked at your social media, and you haven't done that many posts specifically calling out Russian attacks on civilian areas. You haven't called Vladimir Putin a war criminal, but you have called Benjamin Netanyahu a war criminal.
No, actually we did.
Yeah.
In my very first remarks about the Ukraine war, we condemned...
Vladimir Putin's a war criminal in your view.
Yes, we did
And Bashar al-Assad's a war criminal.
Yes, in so many words. Yes, we have said as much.
So you called Netanyahu one, which I think he is.
Oh, absolutely.
But is Putin a war criminal?
So what we said about Putin was that his invasion of Ukraine is criminal.
Mehdi Hassan in the disemboweling of Jill Stein.
It's a criminal and murderous war.
And he's a war criminal who should be on trial.
Well, by implication.
You're struggling here to say something very simple. This is why people have their doubts about you in Russia.
Well,
why is Benjamin Netanyahu a war criminal but not Vladimir Putin?
Well, as John F. Kennedy said, we must not be afraid to. We must not negotiate out of fear, and we must not fear to negotiate.
We knew John F. Kennedy. You are no John F. Kennedy. Jill Stien. All right, one more.
If you want to be an effective world leader, you don't start by name-calling and hurling epithets.
So how will President Stein negotiate with Israel then if you've called Netanyahu a war criminal?
Well, because he very clearly is a war
so Putin
criminal.
Clearly isn't a war criminal.
Well, we don't have a decision, put it this way, by the International Criminal Court.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
actually, actually you're wrong. There's an arrest warrant for Putin. There isn't yet an arrest warrant for Netanyahu. So why is Putin not a war criminal but Netanyahu is?
Okay.
Either you're a war criminal or you're not. Is Vladimir Putin a war criminal?
In so many words, yes, he is.
I don't know what so many words are. Butch, is Vladimir Putin a war criminal?
Let me say that whatever you think he is, if you want to pull him
God.
I'm asking what you think. You're running for president.
If you are a world leader, you don't begin your conversation by calling someone a war criminal unless
So why
you
have you called Biden and Netanyahu war criminals?
Because we have a clear strategy.
That's Jill Stein dust. Just laying post-interview Jill Stein dust.
I have my binoculars out because I was looking for some logic in that ridiculous statement by Jill Stien. Can you dance any harder for... Hold on, just stop. What did they give her in that dinner that she had with Vladimir Putin that was so delicious that years later she will not insult or diss him or say anything other than how wonderful that dinner was from Russia Today? Because that was a ludicrous conversation between her and Mehdi Hassan.
Yeah.
Where she just would not say it in so many words. Yes. Netanyahu went,
It's not that many words. War, criminal. 2 words.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you
I'm gonna
retweeted.
need bigger binoculars.
Yeah.
You retweeted Jill Stein's refusal to call Putin a war criminal is not surprising at all. She's a Russian asset, and everyone knows it. She has one mission and one mission only: to help elect the Kremlin favorite candidate, Donald Trump. Period. Here she is again, 4 years later. Right?
Absolutely. And, again, look at everyone who was at her table. Jill Stein, General Michael Flynn. All of them have turned into raging pro-Putin phobes. And they understand that to be close to the absolute Sauron-like idiocracy that Donald Trump will unleash, which is, the Sauron eye of stupidity, they want to put Donald Trump in office. Jill Stein said in 2016, the goal of electing Trump and defeating Hillary Clinton was to make things so awful in America that the Green Party would look like a future option. Yeah. But, she loves caviar, apparently.
Malcolm, and I've said this many times, I just want to thank you again for the plot to hack America, because you were there first. I mean, obviously, Rachel Maddow, Joy Reid, a lot of our friends did a great job, but you were there first. And I think it's largely because of people like you, and you specifically, that we're not susceptible to this in 2024. When Putin comes out and says, I want Kamala Harris to win, we're like, oh, bitch, please. We know you're for the guy that's going to give you Ukraine. But that's part of it, isn't it? Is you can't disinform when the public is informed and has read Plot to Hack America. Right.
Yes, very true. And, and if anybody out there has Wikipedia rights, get up on there and tell them that I was the first person to really identify this as a Russian intelligence operation. And that was the first book written. I mean, the next book came out 24 months after Plot to Hack America came out. Because the news media, let's be honest, is really slow.
I know. This is when I first fell in love with you. You were on late at night with Brian Williams with your sleepy sailor eyes, just talking truth to America.
Tired.
Yeah. But I love this. You retweeted Republicans against Trump. Here's my favorite word: new. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, announced Monday it has banned Russian state media broadcaster RT over foreign interference activity. Well, it's not new to you or to a lot of us, but thanks for...
I'm counting on my fingers. How many years does it take to do this? It's apparently a decade. It takes almost a decade to figure out that you've been played. And, again, this is where I'm starting to find fault. I was in news media. I'm starting to find that it's absolutely ludicrous that there are vested interests out there who believe that, that Russian disinformation was really a misinformation operation on the part of Democrats, because Trump would say Russia, Russia, Russia. And because if 75 million people are uninformed, misinformed, and believe a lie, why should the New York Times take that credibly? Why should the news media take that credibly? So, we're having this exact same problem right now with the fact that Donald Trump is clearly mentally unfit. He is demented. I mean, that discussion you had a little earlier about, Bagram Air Base in Alaska. He can't tell the difference between Afghanistan and Alaska right now. And had it been Joe Biden, everyone would have been saying he has to be out tomorrow.
Thank you.
Donald Trump can be insane and be left in there because the media says, well, he's the Republican nominee.
And he didn't misspeak once. He said it like 6 times.
Right.
So, by the way, you speaking of foreign assets, Elon Musk said, "Why are so many people raging for the machine?" And you retweeted Nick, who said, "You're a nepo billionaire with a social media empire and government military contracts. You are the machine, you stupid C word." Okay, I just like the use of C word there, particularly. It's a good word. But I was saying, Malcolm, after Kamala wins, we talked to Bob Seska about this. We have to clear out the traitors in our country, that are working against the best interests of the United States.
Project 2025 was their roadmap to disassemble government and turn it into a political machine for a dictator, right? Essentially an American version of the Nazi Party, or Putin's one Russia, free, United Russia Party. But we need to go back and install the guardrails so that these things cannot happen again. Yeah. We need to have really firm rules and laws and fix the Supreme Court so that the Supreme Court cannot engineer the destruction of American democracy. These are common sense things that we, through legislation, have to enact into law. And then you need to have, people out there who are violating laws might get fines that were established in the Gilded Age, right?
Yeah.
Of $5,000. No, we need to start implementing laws that start with the letter, when someone attacks government, with the letter B, right? $1 billion fine for this modern age.
And speaking of the Supreme Court, the extraordinary lengths John Roberts went to protect Donald Trump is vomitous.
There's no denying it. The vibes are really good right now. But vibes alone won't save our democracy. We need votes. At the Grassroots Democrats HQ, we know what it takes to win elections. Knocking doors, making calls, sending texts, and writing postcards. If we're going to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and give them the Democratic Congress to pass their agenda, then we need to roll up our sleeves and talk to a record number of voters between now and November 5th. But let's be clear, we can't do it without you. So, are you ready to work? This is a fight for freedom and our future, and everything is at stake. Don't wake up on November 6th wishing you had done more. Join us. Go to grassrootsdems.org today to sign up to volunteer, and let's go win this thing.